Hi, this is Sue Greenwald with Awakened Stories. I'm here today with Deanna Carr from the Mystical Moonlight. Hey, Deanna, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Today's surprise topic is Gandhi. Okay,
Oh,
Mahatma Gandhi. Yay! So I'm not sure what to expect. I have an inkling of suspicion, but let's see what unfolds. So jump right in there, okay? All right.
got it.
Born in 1869 in India. Okay. He went to London to become a lawyer, what they call barristers, right? So he trained in London in the legal area and came back to India, kind of failed as a lawyer there, like his business wasn't successful. So he moves to South Africa. And I think the biggest catalyst at that moment is he got kicked off a train. So he had a first class ticket. He was a lawyer. He was in the first class department, and they kicked him off the train because he wasn't the right color, even though he had the ticket, right? So at that time, India was, under British rule, and South Africa was under British rule, Dutch rule. I mean, there was a lot of people fighting over that area. So, but they discriminated against, of course, the people of color, the Native Africans or whatever. So, are we on track with the story at that moment? Like, is there anything that I've said that is not true?
No, that's correct so far.
Okay. So, being thrown off the train, he realized what the discrimination was against people of color. And we're going to say, especially Indians, those from India. He decided to specialize in help, freeing the Indians, if you will, from this oppression. And he was a big proponent for peaceful protests, as that's what really made him famous. So that incident when he was thrown off the train gave him, some kind of notoriety. So he decided that he would basically represent those from India so that they could beat the oppressors in a peaceful way, if you will. And what they did is they boycotted. All right, so they boycotted English made stuff, fabric, blah, 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 peacefully. All right. So the
Yeah.
Indians listened to him. They would burn English made fabric and all of this. But a couple times that got out of control and there was violence. Okay. And so the story goes, he felt so darn guilty about that violence, he like almost semi-volunteered himself to go to jail. So he was in jail for a couple of years. But go ahead.
So during this time frame where he got these people to start boycotting,
Yeah.
this is his first taste of power.
Ah,
When you realize that you can get multiple people to do what you're asking them to do, two things either happen. You use it for good or you use it for bad. And at first, it might not have been bad because he's realizing, like, hey, I can get these people to kind of get us out. Now, I'm not saying, they should have been under British rule. They
right,
really, honestly, nobody should be under anybody else's rule.
right,
People
right.
just think that they have power. So yeah, it did help them get to a point that took them out of
Yeah.
their suppression. And I mean, there's still all this nasty stuff that still happens today. I mean, it's 2026 and we still have
Right.
racism that's just
Horrible.
everywhere.
Horrible.
Um, but at this point, he realizes that he has more pull than he thought. He has more notoriety than he thought. How could he actually utilize this? And that became part of that staple. Did he feel bad? I don't think he really did feel bad because there is a part of him that is seeing I can work this. He was just trained to be a lawyer. They
Yeah.
are great at working angles.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't get it twisted. They are great with PR. They are great with how can they twist a story to fit a narrative they're looking for.
Right.
And
Right.
they can do it subtly and they can do it naturally.
Yep.
Um, So he's twisting this storyline to seem like he is the victim. He is the one, okay, I'm gonna go and put myself in jail so that way it gives the story that I am the good guy. I am the good guy that is going to do whatever it takes to show that these people can get out of this
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was that first instinct of, I think I got something here.
Ah, so he started out as a good guy wanting to help. He truly wanted to help the Indians and others. So there's some questions about that though. Back in his journals, they found some derogatory statements made about the native African, the blacks. So he
Mhm.
used derogatory terms and all of that in his writing. So that's like a little bit questionable there, right?
Yeah,
And yeah.
because I mean, a lot of people, I mean, this is still happening today. A lot of people think that you can't be racist against other people. Like, there's this mindset that you can't be racist against a different race, especially if you're a different race. Yes, you're racist if you're against other people for kind of no reason. So yeah, he wasn't really a good guy. I mean,
Mhm.
derogatory terms written down, especially towards a different race for what purpose?
Right.
Especially when you're going towards this theme of I am going to be calm, helpful,
Yeah.
peaceful. Um, it goes against that image he is branding. He's literally branding himself as this right now. And branding is something that people do to this day. I mean, think about celebrities. They've branded themselves to be this image.
Right.
And you can brand yourself to be something. So he's starting to brand himself as this clean, helpful guy that is going to do whatever it takes to make sure these people are okay. And yeah, there could be some, underlying reasons why he felt that he needed to be nasty towards somebody else. But at the end of the day, if he's going for this to help people, you can't just say it's only for some people.
Right. That's true. So yeah, and again, he's focused, according to what we research, he's focused only on the Indian people at this point because they're oppressed, right? Okay, so let's just talk about the time he's in South Africa for like say 20 years or so. A lot of protests for the Indians, blah 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 blah. In and out of jail because it starts out as peaceful, like he leads them to a peaceful thing, then they like lose their minds and their people get hurt, there's violence, so he's in and out of jail here and there. So he's there in South Africa for roughly 20 years, okay?
Mm,
Then he goes back to India, and that's really where he becomes, we'll call it famous, more famous. Okay.
yeah.
So there is a school of thought that he was helped to his fame by the British there because they thought docile Indians, controllable Indians, like if he's going to keep them quiet and passive and not
Yeah.
passive protest, well, we like that because we don't want to fight with them. We just want them to go about their lives and leave us alone. That's
Yeah,
kind of
maybe
the,
they were doing something.
yeah. So that sounds like pretty feasible to me, right?
Yeah,
So
because
he,
I mean, he's starting to brand himself as this person that has this low key, let's solve this problem in a
yeah,
different way, which honestly, boycotting is the best way to do stuff, especially when money's involved.
yep,
But, you're going from somebody that is leading these peaceful protests to turning out to riots. Um, there's a lot of questioning, like how does one switch? Now, I know you can't have full control of people, but what that tells most people is these people were not actually there for a peaceful protest whatsoever. They were there to riot, you know? You don't just flip a switch. Now, yeah, there are some protests that you go in and the other side ends up provoking and you start defending. If you're defending yourself, that's a different story. But from what is understood, these people were not just defending themselves. They were attacking.
yeah, yeah,
And that is the difference. They were planning on this attack. So they could brand themselves or whatever, but at the end of the day, it was never going to be a peaceful protest.
Now, when you say that they were branding themselves for attack, was it led in any way by Gandhi? Like, was he involved in that planning, or it was other people that were just like, we're pissed off and we're going to fight, right?
It's it's partly him because you can say certain things, but give different actions. So you can say it's going to be a peaceful protest, but if you hand somebody a bat, they're going to swing, right? So he says one thing, but he was pretty much setting them up to turn it into a protest because in his mind, if you have somebody going in for this and something goes wrong, then you have your self-defense. So he was looking at it from different angles, but the problem was you don't have control of these people. You're giving he was giving some of them weapons, and he wasn't really reining in that control. He was just, we got to do what we got to do.
Right, right,
So it really was supposed to lead to a brawl.
right. Okay. So, he's in India and again he becomes more and more famous and more of a leader. So, he does hunger strikes. He leads people in hunger strikes, these
Mhm.
peaceful protests. They do a walk of like 240 miles to protest taxes or blah blah blah. So he does all these things and then again, he's always talking about peace and from the out, from what we've been taught, he was the peaceful one, but sometimes people would lose their minds and there'd be violence. And,
Yeah,
he was really there for self-rule of India. That's what he wanted, right? That's what he
yeah.
said, they say. Do you agree with that? Is that truly what he wanted, self-rule?
I mean, at the end of the day, he did want to be not under anybody else's thumb,
Yeah.
especially when you have a culture that is suppressing
Okay.
the natural culture. I mean, and that's what we've seen through many countries is other cultures coming in and oppressing the original culture because they think that they're better.
Yep.
And so, yeah, part of it was that because, I mean, it is sad. Like, I mean, when you have your own natural culture being told from somebody else that's never been there that they need to change and they're wrong, but everything
Yeah.
they're doing is fine, it's
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
So there is a lot, and this is not the only place that has had this happen. I mean, even here in America, I mean, it's been taken over. So I mean, pretty much every country has been taken over by somebody.
I know. So, again, the British were there a long time, and so he was
Hmm.
really trying to help them break free from the British rule. So
Yeah.
what happened is if we fast forward again, hunger strikes, a couple times in jail, these protests, these marches, if you will.
Hmm.
In 1947, Britain basically announced that India would be free. Okay. And it took them about 3 years to let that happen. And they created Pakistan and India. Okay. So what happened then is a bunch of people got assigned to go over to Pakistan, what's now Pakistan, to live. And like, you guys live over there, you guys live over there, right? Well, who wants to move and be told where to live, right? So there was violence there, right? So nobody wants to have to move unless they want to move,
Yeah.
right?
Why should you do something that
Yeah.
somebody else tells you?
Yeah. So that happened. It took them about 3 years for like England or Britain to technically leave. I don't know if they really left or not, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
historically. And then about a year later, Gandhi's shot. So he's shot he's supposedly shot 3 times. And, like kind of like point blank range, he dies. But there's again a conspiracy going on out there that there was a fourth bullet from another shooter. So
Mhm.
was the guy that, was in the crowd when he was walking through the crowd, did he actually kill him? Or what was happening there?
Did he actually kill? Yes, he did.
Okay. Was there another shooter like somewhere in the crowd or
There was another shooter, but it looks like there was a different target.
ooh, okay. Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting. All right. So basically, all right, let's ask a whole bunch of questions now. Based on our recent, I should have asked the questions first, kind of interviews. Um, would we say overall Gandhi was good or bad, or was he kind of a mix or self-serving? Like, how would you describe him?
I would consider him a mix
Okay.
because he wasn't straight bad. Like he wasn't like there was a good intention there
Yeah.
at one point,
Yeah.
but like most things, when something doesn't happen and you want it a lot and really bad, you become morphed into something else. And
Yeah.
that's the hard part because you want to stay on your healthy, positive track. But how do you keep that balance and not be mad at the world? Because, I mean, what was going on was very negative. I mean, people were being suppressed. I mean, not everybody goes through that. And so not everybody truly understands. So, yeah, he wasn't necessarily just an evil person. I think that he was just trying to make a difference and he was trying to work at the best he could without, truly feeling negative about himself. I mean, just imagine you go to school for law, you're being suppressed yourself, you don't know how to handle life at this point. Everything's kind of getting demolished and just falling apart around you. You still don't feel good enough. And you have a little breakthrough of, you know what? I think I got something. I can help people this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when he kind of brought that mixture. And so I feel like there could have been a better way to go about it, but at the end of the day, I mean, he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
could have been things that were handled better. Like I said, like you can't go into a peaceful protest and hand people bats and then just expect for it to be peaceful. So there were things that were contradicting of him. But he also knew how to play the storyline. He knew how to switch it to self-defense versus going out and attacking. So he was able to kind of change the narrative when he could.
Okay. Now you've mentioned the word bats like two or three times. So is that literally what he gave people?
Yeah, bat sticks. I mean, the bats that they had were a little bit different than what we think of. But yeah, pretty much a big, well,
Club,
I'm just
like a
calling
club.
bat. Yeah, a
Yeah.
club, whatever you want to call it. A
Okay.
big stick that was gonna pound people in
Yeah.
if they needed to.
Yeah.
They
And
did not bring they didn't have like guns and stuff like that. So that's, they brought stuff to protect themselves. And honestly, people nowadays do the same thing. When you go to a protest, there's always a chance of it being flipped. So it's more normalized nowadays to have something to protect yourself. But back then, when you talked about a peaceful protest, people have done the hunger strikes before. It's not something that isn't known. Um, so yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, one thing to point out, like this imperialism. Okay, I'm sorry, I got distracted while I was saying it. But Britain had been in control of India for a long time, and they sucked out the resource. They used the people for their workers and servants and that. But look at the economy over there now. The people are super poor.
Yeah.
Super poor. It's shocking, but see, that's what happens when another country goes in and takes over and thinks they know better, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
go in, they take the resources they want, they take anything they want because
Yeah.
what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
And then they go off about their day and they're
Yeah.
done.
Exactly. And
The
they don't,
problem now is, some people understand what they've done, some people don't care. And I always found this to be the most interesting aspect about these countries that are built on death, but people idolize them for love. Think about France. And here's what I told somebody. I know it's not. relating to this specifically,
Yeah.
but France literally has people buried under their streets. They have, you're walking on bones, and it's considered the city of love. You're literally kissing somebody on bones, people. And that's what, like, this is part of that PR. They've rebranded their whole country to be based off of love when they have a stockpile of bones underneath because they didn't know where else to put them.
Yeah.
Isn't that a crazy concept?
Yeah. Well, down in the catacombs, we've seen photos of how many skulls, bones, and all of that are down there, and they're huge. They're
They've
all
cut the
over,
walls out of bones.
all
And
over.
yet they have pictures, they have videos, they actually have scary movies now based off of this. I love my Ghost Adventures. They do episodes down there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Um, it's just one of those things that, these countries that have taken over, they've destroyed, they've rebranded themselves to make it seem like they are good guys. And that is part of that history. They've rebranded themselves
Yeah.
to make it down the line. People don't think about the negative. I mean, even nowadays, people think that these countries are these amazing entities,
Yep.
when in reality, all they've done is taken, destroyed, and killed,
Yep. Exactly.
and maybe left a little bit for some people.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see, like I said, look around there, the results now. Like the
Yeah.
people are very poor. Like we can't even conceptualize it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Questions. Was Gandhi a spy of any sort?
I'm not getting you as a spy.
Okay. Was he a pedophile of any sort?
I'm getting yes for that one.
Uncool, dude. Okay. The reason I'm asking is toward the end of his life, right? There's videos about this too out there. He had his two grand nieces, they were like teenagers, as his assistants, right? He called them his pillars. And I forget their names, but they would accompany him, help him because he was an old dude, right? Not in great health. But he also slept in the same bed as them, which is super ooh. Like who does
Yeah.
that, right? And that
Yeah.
is really highly suspect. So, okay. Do
Yeah.
we, is there anything else we need to know on that topic?
Um, I guess the one thing, and I feel like I've said this before, some of these high up spiritual people aren't always as good as they seem.
Right.
There's a lot of people that have been in books that have stuff like they have mass followings, like I want to say like millions of people. They're not always that good. When we talk about people that are usually making difference, they are not known worldwide. The reason being is because they're making a difference and they want that to be hush hush,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Not saying that they're not gonna have like followers, but I'm saying they are not going to be recognized worldwide for a long time. That type of notoriety usually doesn't happen for true spiritual helpers,
Right.
no matter what, religion or category you want to put them in. Because when people make an actual difference in that category, they are suppressed because they know that once people unlock this potential, they're doomed.
Okay. So was uh his interest in younger people. I don't know how to say it delicately. Was he a pedophile his whole life or only toward the end, or how did that come about?
Towards the end.
Okay.
I guess not like high, like middle-ish,
Okay.
in the
So,
middle-ish of his age. Um, it looked like he just at this point he just wanted more for himself. When people keep giving and giving and giving,
yeah.
at some point there is a balance that is taken. Now, not saying he was perfect whatsoever, but at some point you hit this, I want what I want, and I'm tired of waiting. When is my life going to start, in a sense? And at this point, he felt like he continued to keep giving and giving energy and putting on this performance, and at this point, he was like, when am I going to have a life?
Okay.
But at this point, too, he realized that he was kind of getting to that old point. And it's harder for people to have relationships, especially in India. There's a lot about who you are, your status, and all of that that goes into relationships. And this is not the first time, like India as a culture, there is a lot of pedophilia that happens. I don't think that has been abolished, so it is not abnormal for older men to go for younger women. There is a lot of that happens within that culture. Not saying it's everybody, but a lot of it does happen.
Okay. If you look at the photos of him with his grandnieces, they're like I said, they're teenager-ish.
Mhm.
They don't look happy, right? You would think if he was this great spiritual leader and they were chosen to accompany him, they'd be like, yo, hey, right?
Mhm.
They don't look happy. They're
Yeah.
probably like stuck there and they've got no recourse to get out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens to a lot of people. They get stuck either financially, physically. Where else are they going to go?
Yeah.
And when you have that type of power, notoriety, even if you try to escape, there is no escape.
Right. Okay, two or three little quick questions. Was he, now we see him as, a small in stature. Of course, we see him with the glasses and all that. He's an older guy in our vision, right?
Mhm.
Brown skin because he was Indian. Was that actually how he looked?
Yeah, he was pretty accurate with that.
Okay. Because a lot of these people we're talking about, I haven't asked the right question. So we're
Yeah.
going to come back to that, but okay.
Yeah,
Eh,
like yeah, he looks like an older Indian guy that has, those like he did the small circular glasses,
yeah.
kind of plump in the belly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And is he still alive or was he indeed murdered?
He was murdered.
Okay. Just want to, clarify so that I ask the right questions. All right.
Yeah.
And I am, disappointed. I don't know about him a lot, but again, we love those lofty ideals, peaceful protest, hunger strikes, marches, to get our people free. Doesn't that sound awesome rather than go and fight your way free? But it's disappointing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at some point in time, a peaceful protest doesn't work because in reality, it's not really hurting anybody except for yourself.
Yeah.
The only type of peaceful protest that truly works is when you stop taking products, when you starve out a system, when you stop giving your money, your time, and your effort towards something.
Yeah.
So that is really the only way a peaceful protest works. A hunger strike doesn't really work.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way that would work is if you stop going to the grocery store, but then that goes back into boycotting. You got to boycott the system.
Yeah.
They don't get their money.
It's all about the
At the
money,
same
right?
time, you are still starving yourself. I mean, you
Yeah.
could grow your own food. That would work better than starving yourself
Yeah.
because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, listen, I've gone without food for maybe a few hours and it doesn't look pretty. So a few days, I'm going to be very nasty. And I will be honest with that. You don't want to see me. So I can't imagine a big group of people going on hunger strike.
I've gone without food like maybe 3 hours. Not a good sight. So yeah,
There are people that, they're used to not having food.
yeah,
They're like, and I think because we haven't done it for a long period of time, like I've never gone on hunger strike and I've never done a
fast
what
or
is
whatever.
juice fast, a water fast, whatever type of
Yeah,
fast.
yeah.
I've done it for maybe a few hours and it's not
So
good.
yeah.
Um, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my personality. You don't want to see that type of thing. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into this that could have, it could keep elevating the situation further than it needs to go.
Yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, he wasn't horrible in the beginning. He did have a good purpose. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost is your purpose overdrives your system and you're going to do whatever it takes. And he ended up leaving a legacy, just we don't know the true story,
yeah.
you know.
Well, thank you for shedding light on it. I'm a little
Yeah.
disappointed, like I said, but we want the truth out there. We've
Yeah.
been again revering the wrong people because that's what we're taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then you don't want to know anything about Buddha. So,
Oh,
yeah.
damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, these big names, we put all this energy towards these names. And in reality, when a name is that big that it's been revered for centuries, years, whatever time frame, and it's known across countries, it's known in the masses, there's a problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. And for the viewer, if you want to know more or if you have questions about anything, shoot them over to us and we'll try to get to them as time allows. Thank you so
Yep.
much, Deanne. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Bye.
Bye bye.